What's up, Mom? You drive with this light on? How you guys doing?
We're doing good, people. We're flying.
Fine, I gotta keep telling this woman to slow down before we get pulled over. I was gonna do this tomorrow in a different setting, but situations changed. So I want to welcome all of you. I'm Joseph Coda. I've been living with heart disease for quite a while. My story's in the description of my channel. We can get into that a little bit more. Right now I'm headed down to Mayo Clinic, Phoenix, Arizona. And I was just, all day I've been experiencing these sharp chest pains, and I just kind of been putting it off, but I went laid down to go to sleep, and I started getting them in multiple spots kind of surrounding my heart, right above my surplex, down a little bit below my collarbone down here, and then down in the ribs. And they've been real persistent all day, and I just felt that it's important that I go in instead of falling asleep. If you guys ever have any question about your heart not feeling right, situations that you're coming across, and you need to go in, you need to get checked. There's nothing to play with. You don't want to go to sleep not being sure, So especially if you're dealing with heart disease and your disease is progressing. So a little bit about my backstory. My mother here, she was told in a regular physical when I was a young child before I can remember that I had a heart murmur. And a lot of children are told that they have heart murmurs, but due to lack of insurance or whatever may have you, a lot of parents don't have an outlet to go and get their children checked constantly. So my mom worked for the city of Phoenix for a long time, had good insurance, and she stayed on top of it. We just kept going to cardiologists once a year, but eventually that murmur had developed into hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a genetic disease, and I do have a deformed gene. So she stayed on top of it, and about 9 years old, I started getting real symptomatic. They found out that I had thickening in my left ventricle, and I'd had an open heart surgery. They thinned that out. Recovery was a little bit rough, but 4 or 5 months into it, recovered real well. Got into skateboarding. I did that for a real long time. While going to the doctor, every year I would see Dr. Peoples. He worked for Phoenix Children's Hospital. He's now retired. And I did that for a long part of my life. Had a child young at 18 years old. I didn't really go to school, so I got into the workforce, the real world, went out there, made a couple dollars. And I've been doing it ever since. About 25 years old, I want to say, I had my first episode of AFib. I never had another episode of AFib after that. I didn't have no ablation or no medication for it or anything. And about 27 years old, about late 27 years old, I had 3 VTech episodes. And these were the scariest episodes I ever had in my life. Literally, you think you're gonna die. Your heart is beating 230, 240 beats per minute. You have no blood flow to the body. I can remember one episode, I couldn't get to my phone, so I just stayed still, laid down. I couldn't lift my head. I lift my head and I feel like I was gonna pass out. It's real dangerous that you don't try and get up and walk during these episodes, because if you pass out and you're in a position where your heart has to pump blood against gravity, and it's pumping 240 beats per minute, the chances of making it out of that are really, really slim. So I was very, very lucky to be in, the right place in the right position when these things happen. I could lay down. I was in a vehicle driving the second episode. I made a wrong turn. I got off the freeway and turned into a neighborhood. by chance, I turned into a neighborhood, and I had the episode. I was able to put my seat back, put my feet up, and wait it out. So I had a cardiac ablation for those, and I never had a VTech episode again. But AFib started showing up, and I'm a real active person. You know, I'm always doing something. If I'm not working, I'm at home. I'm tinkering with things. You know, I'm messing with some skateboards, some bikes, some dirt bikes. I'm always into something. So these AFib episodes were really kicking my ass. Just taking me totally out of my element. I had one ablation for those, and they kept reoccurring. And then I was medicated, and I tried every single medication that was out there. Ticasine is name one, but I think I was on like 3 different medications, and none of them took the AFib away. I had a second ablation, and I just kept getting these AFib episodes. So what I did is I just stopped taking the anti-arrhythmia medication altogether. Those anti-arrhythmia medications, they also have properties in them to throw you into a bad rhythm, just like they do to keep you out of the bad rhythm. You know, like the yin and the yang. You know, a little corny there, but it's just the way it works. And so I haven't had an AFib episode or a VTech episode. I haven't had a VTech episode since my first ablation, and I haven't had a AFib episode since after my second and after I cut my medication for anti-arrhythmias. But after that, I just started experiencing a little bit different symptoms. You know, very tired, very fatigued. I started retaining water. My heart failure numbers started going up. I have a cleft mitral valve, so I have leakage there. That leakage started to get a little more severe. So I was on diuretics, which I was starting to get dehydrated on my diuretics, which was causing another problem. You know, I was starting to have these like weird attacks with being so dry. I would get like, yeah, you want to get off here, Mom. I would start shaking, and my heart would start beating real crazy. I would get like real sweaty in the hands, almost like a panic attack, but I'm not a real anxious person. I don't get like overly excited. And it's just, I think it was from being real dehydrated. Well, in about 4 weeks, my heart failure numbers went up by 200. So now I'm getting evaluated for a heart transplant. We're just making sure I'm healthy enough to accept it. And then after we determine that I am, get me on a heart transplant list, and we'll go from there. Well, the past week I've just been getting these real sharp like pains, and the hospital's aware. But today it's just been a little bit different, just real persistent, heavy, tight, and yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable going to sleep. So I woke this wonderful woman up here. And yeah, she got me here real quick. Here we are on Mayo Boulevard and 56th Street. We're getting ready to turn in. And
so all you're gonna do, a couple times in and out of the machine.
right on.
Have you had contrast before?
I have that contrast.
You have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna get some more of that.
Is this the lungs or the heart?
The lungs. Yeah, basically what we're looking for is like a blood clot.
Understood.
Yeah, so that's why we're using the contrast to highlight.
How you guys doing? Check this message I just got.
Hi, Margaret. I initially had called your son, and I was going to leave a message with him, but it said that the voice box or voice message box was not set up yet, so it just basically hung up. The reason why I'm calling is to just discuss the referral to our heart transplant team. to discuss the heart transplant evaluation process. I know that Joe had met with Dr. Studley, who is our medical director, and this is just a formality to discuss the evaluation process, to answer any questions that you have, to get a little bit of history. And then what I'll do is upon your, or upon Joe's agreement to have undergo a transplant evaluation, then I'll start to place orders, and you'll, some appointments will be scheduled, but we'll need to have this conversation initially. So you can call back at our 1010 number. The number is 480-342.
Oh, no, you're pretty cool. Do a switch?
Oh, it's pretty hard to do. Actually, really hard. And Darren yells me.
You messed me up.
Yeah, why are you yelling? That's just
So yesterday was interesting, very informative. It's safe to say that everything checked out good. I learned a lot about chest pain, how the pain's going to feel if it's coming from the organ. So yeah, again, it was real informative, and I just want to encourage you guys, if you're ever just not feeling right, you're questioning the way you're feeling, you need to go in and get checked, because it's really not second chances with those type of things. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. I'm going to keep filming my journey, and if you guys got any questions, any information you want to leave, just anything you want to provide to the heart disease or just health community in general, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe. I will keep in touch. I will reply with any information that I have. Yeah, you guys have a good day. See me soon.